Hi everybody, welcome back to my channel. So in today's video, what I'm going to be doing is telling you 5 books that I would like to read this summer. I'm going to do it a bit like my TBR videos. I'm going to tell you about the book and then I'm going to read the blurb of the book and go from there basically and see what happens. So yeah, let's get into it. So the first book I'm going to discuss with you today is Seven Summers by Paige Toon. I have had this on my TBR since last summer but didn't get around to reading it, so I'm hoping to get it read this year. And this one, it says on the back, 6 summers ago, Liv and Finn meet working in a bar on a rugged Cornish coastline. When a night of passion ends in tragedy, their hearts are bound together inextricably. But Finn must return home to LA, so they make a promise. Finn will come back every year, and if they are single, they will spend the summer together. This summer, Liv crosses paths with Tom, a mysterious newcomer. As the wildflowers bloom, they begin to fall for one another, and Liv starts to picture a world where her heart isn't broken each year. Now Liv must make an impossible choice, and when she discovers the shocking reason that Tom has left home, she'll need to trust her heart even more. So this sounds quite interesting. They meet working in a bar, but then Finn has to go home, and then they meet every year at the same time in the same place and spend the summer together. But then she meets somebody else and starts falling for him. So I think there's going to be a bit of a love triangle in this. I think it's going to be quite emotional. I just get that vibe from it. And I think it's going to be a really nice one for the summer. I do love a romance in summer. I don't think you can beat a romance in the summer. They're just nice books to be reading in the sunshine. So I'm really looking forward to that one. So yeah, that's book 1. And for book 2, it is another book by Paige Toon, and it is What If I Never Get Over You. I picked this up in the works a few weeks ago. Look at those sprayed edges, they're beautiful. And they look like little fireworks sparklers, so I'm assuming that has something to do with what happens in the book. And I've never read a Paige Toon book before, but I have heard amazing things about her writing, and her books seem like they're right up my alley, so I think I'm going to like her. I hope so, because I've got 2 books of hers to read. But we'll see. And this one says, Ellie didn't expect to fall in love while travelling in Europe, but she also didn't expect to meet a man like Ash. 3 blistering days in Lisbon are all it takes to form an unforgettable connection, deep enough for them to plan to meet again in Madrid. But Ellie arrives late and Ash is nowhere to be found. 6 years later, the memory of Ash and their time together still burns deeply in Ellie's heart. She hopes that her dream job as a gardener on a grand estate in Wales will bring the fresh start she desperately needs. But when Ash unexpectedly crashes back into her life, Ellie is forced to question if the universe has other plans. So this one sounds like a second chance romance. And they meet while travelling. Yeah, while travelling. And then they plan to meet up again, but Ash isn't there. She can't forget about him, but they bump into each other again years later. So again, I think this one's going to be quite emotional. I think Paige Toon books in general are known for being quite emotional. I think. I'm not entirely sure, but I have heard that about her stuff. But yeah, I think this one's going to be another nice one to read outside with the sun shining, and it's going to be quite a nice summery book. So yeah, I thought this would be another nice one to read. So that's book 2. For the third book I want to read this summer, it's one I have had on my TBR for a very long time, and it is about time I get to it, to be honest. And it is A Thousand Boy Kisses by Tilly Cole. This went crazy online a few years back, a couple of years ago, I think, and everybody was saying what an amazing book it is. It's quite sad, apparently, which is sort of what's made me apprehensive to read it. I've not really been in the mood for a sad book lately, but it's also supposed to be quite romancy. So I'm curious to read it and see if I like it or not. This one says on the back, a kiss lasts a moment but can change a lifetime. Rune Christiansen and Poppy Litchfield met as children and swore to be friends forever. As teenagers, this grew into a love that promised to last a lifetime, but their worlds were shattered when Rune was sent home to his native Norway. 2 years later, Rune is back and Poppy is ready for their happy ever after to begin, but the boy who returns is not the Rune she remembers. What happened to turn her sweet, thoughtful Rune into this brooding stranger? And will the secret Poppy is carrying bring them closer together or separate them forever? Again, I think this one's going to be a very heavy book. I think it's going to be quite emotional. But I have a feeling that when I start this one, it's going to be one of them books I want to finish in one sitting. It's taking me a while to start it because of the emotionally heavy aspect. But once I start this, I know I won't be able to put it down. I was exactly the same with If He Had Been With Me by Laura Nolan. It took me ages to start it, but when I started it, I read it in one sitting. I think this is going to be exactly the same. So I know I'm going to enjoy it, but I need to be in the right mood for an emotionally heavy book. So I do want to pick it up this summer. I've just got to be in the right mindset for it. So yeah, this one is book 3, and I'm quite curious to see what the hype's about, to be honest. For book 4, I have decided to pick Love and Gelato by Jenna Evans Welch. And this one's YA, I believe. It is a YA romance. I'm pretty sure. I'll read the back in a moment. But yeah, I'm pretty sure it's a YA romance. I have heard quite good things about this one online. It is the start of another series, so if it is good, there are more books to follow on from it. But yeah, like I say, I've seen quite a few good things on the internet, so I'm curious to see if I personally like it or not. It sounds like it's my sort of thing, to be honest. The back says Lena is spending the summer in Tuscany, fulfilling her mother's dying wish that she should get to know her father. With the help of her mother's journal, Lena uncovers a magical world of secret romance, art, and hidden bakeries. People come to Italy for love and gelato, someone tells her, but sometimes they discover much more. So, from the sound of that, I feel like it's going to be quite a cozy romance. I feel like there's going to be a mystery element to it because she's trying to find her father, but it's going to be quite summery and quite cozy and quite a nice, happy little read, I think. But that's the vibe I'm getting from the blurb, so that's what I'm feeling with it right now. It's not overly thick. I think this one will be a nice one to take on holiday because, like I say, I'm getting the feeling it's not emotionally heavy or anything like that. So I thought this one would be a good book to put on my summer TBR for that reason. And then, last but not least, book 5 on this summer TBR is Great Big Beautiful Life by Emily Henry. This is Emily Henry's new book. It's not long come out, and I do love an Emily Henry book. I've read the majority of her books now, I think, and I do really enjoy her writing style. I really like the summery romance feel they all seem to have, the lightheartedness, the happy endings, that sort of thing. So I am assuming that this is going to be the same sort of thing. This one says, when Margaret Ives, the famously reclusive heiress, invites Alice to the balmy little Crescent Island, Alice knows this is it, her big break. The catch. Pulitzer Prize winning human Thundercloud Hayden is sure of the same thing. The proposal, a trial period to unearth the truth behind one of the most scandalous families of the 20th century, after which Margaret will choose who will tell her story. The problem. Margaret is only giving each of them tantalising pieces they can't put together because of an ironclad NDA and an inconvenient yearning pulsing between them every time they're in the same room. And it's becoming abundantly clear that this story, just like Margaret's tale, could be a mystery, tragedy, or love ballad, depending on who's telling it. So, by the sounds of it, there's two authors or journalists that want to tell this woman's story. Emily Henry does tend to write a lot about authors, I've noticed, so that does fit her usual theme. And they're both going for the same job, but there's a lot of tension between them. That's what I'm getting from the blurb anyway. And yeah, it sounds like I say very Emily Henry style. I am looking forward to it, and I thought it would be a really nice one to read again, maybe while I'm on holiday or even in the garden over the sunnier months. So yeah, that one is book 5. So just a little recap, the 5 books that I would like to read this summer are Seven Summers by Paige Toon, What If I Never Get Over You by Paige Toon, A Thousand Boy Kisses by Tilly Cole, Love and Gelato by Jenna Evans Welch, and Great Big Beautiful Life by Emily Henry. So they are the 5 books on my summer reading list. I really hope you enjoyed today's video. If you did enjoy it, please like, comment and subscribe underneath, and I will see you all again next week.